Hello, and welcome. I am so happy you are here with me today. This video is made for you, for anyone who wants to speak English with more confidence, for anyone who wants to understand English more naturally. Whether you are a complete beginner or you have been learning for some time, this video will help you grow. Today we are going to read and listen to a story together. The story is simple and clear, but it is also powerful and full of meaning. As you listen, you will hear natural English spoken slowly. As you read, your eyes will get comfortable with English words. When you do both at the same time, something wonderful happens. Your brain starts to absorb English naturally, without stress, without pressure, just like a child learns their first language. Here are 3 simple things you can do to practice well today. First, follow the words as you listen. Let your eyes and ears work as a team. Second, do not worry about every new word. Keep going and try to understand the general meaning. The story will help you. Third, pause any time you want and repeat a sentence out loud. Speak with confidence. Say it once. Say it again. Make it feel natural in your mouth. Some days English will feel easy. Some days it will feel hard. Both days are good days. Both days are moving you forward. Learning a language is not about being perfect. It is about showing up and trying. Every single time you try, you are getting better. So take a comfortable breath. Relax your shoulders. You are in the right place at the right time. The story is ready, and so are you. Thank you for choosing to spend your time learning English today. Now, let us begin. The Boy with the Torn Notebook. A story about never giving up. Introduction. This is a story about a boy. His name is Daniel. Daniel is 12 years old. He lives in a small town far from the city. His house is small. His family does not have much money. But Daniel has something that money cannot buy. He has a dream, and he has a torn notebook. That notebook is the most important thing in his life. Every night, before he sleeps, Daniel opens his notebook and writes. He writes his thoughts. He writes his ideas. He writes his dreams. The notebook is old. Some pages are missing. The cover is broken. But Daniel does not care, because inside that torn notebook lives something beautiful. His future. This is his story. Chapter 1. The Notebook. Daniel found the notebook on the side of the road. It was a Tuesday morning. He was walking to school. He saw something in the grass near the fence. He stopped. He looked closer. It was a notebook, old and dirty. He picked it up. Most of the pages were empty, but a few had writing on them. The writing was in a language he did not know. He looked at the words for a long time. He did not understand them, but they looked beautiful. He thought, somebody wrote something important here. He put the notebook in his bag and walked to school. That night, he opened the notebook again. He found a clean page. He picked up his pencil. He wrote one sentence. My name is Daniel, and I want to be somebody. He stared at that sentence for a long time. Then he closed the notebook and went to sleep. But something had changed. Something small. Something quiet. Something that would grow very, very slowly. Chapter 2. The Dream. Daniel's school was small. There were 40 children in his class. The classroom had one window. The floor was made of old wood. In the summer, it was very hot. In the winter, it was very cold. But Daniel loved school. He loved to learn. He loved to read. He loved to ask questions. His favorite subject was writing. His teacher, Mrs. Amara, always said the same thing to him. "Daniel, you have something special. Your words are alive." Daniel did not always understand what she meant, but it made him feel warm inside. One afternoon, Mrs. Amara brought a book to class. It was a big, beautiful book. The cover was bright blue. She held it up and said, "This book was written by a man who grew up in a small town just like ours. He had no money. He had no computer. He had only a pencil and paper. But he wrote every day. And one day, the whole world read his words." Daniel looked at that blue book. His heart did something strange. It jumped. That evening, he opened his torn notebook. He wrote 3 words: "I will write." He did not know how. He did not know when. He did not know what would happen, but he knew one thing. He meant it. Chapter 3: Hard Times. Life was not easy for Daniel's family. His father worked long hours at a factory far from their town. He left before the sun came up. He came home after dark. His mother worked too. She cleaned houses in the next village. Daniel had a little sister named Rosa. Rosa was 7 years old. She had big brown eyes and a loud laugh. Daniel loved her very much. Every evening, Daniel made dinner for Rosa. He helped her with her homework. He read to her before she went to sleep. Then, when the house was quiet, he opened his notebook. He was tired. His eyes were heavy, but he always wrote something, even if it was just one line. "Today was hard, but I am still here." Rosa laughed at dinner. It was the best sound. "I do not know what tomorrow will bring, but I will try." His notebook was filling up slowly, page by page, night by night. And with every page, Daniel felt something growing inside him, something quiet but strong, something that hard days could bend but never break. Chapter 4: The First Story. One night, Daniel could not sleep. It was raining outside. The rain hit the roof loudly. Rosa was asleep in the next room. The house was warm and dark. Daniel sat up in his bed. He opened his notebook. And something happened that had never happened before. The words came fast, very fast. He wrote about a boy who lived on a mountain. The boy had a garden. Every morning he watered the plants. Every night he watched the stars. One day a storm came and destroyed the garden. The boy cried. But the next morning he went back outside. He picked up the broken plants. He put them back in the ground. He watered them again. And slowly, slowly, the garden grew back, more beautiful than before. Daniel wrote for 2 hours without stopping. When he finished, his hand was sore. He read what he had written. He read it slowly. His eyes got wet, not because it was sad, because it was his. He had made something from nothing. He had taken the quiet inside him and turned it into words. He closed the notebook carefully. He put it under his pillow, and he slept better than he had in months. Chapter 5: Mrs. Amara's Words. The next day at school, Daniel could not concentrate. He kept thinking about his story. After class, he waited until all the other students left. Then he walked to Mrs. Amara's desk. His hands were shaking a little. He put the notebook on her desk. "I wrote something," he said quietly. "Can you read it?" Mrs. Amara looked at him. Then she looked at the notebook. She opened it to the story. She read slowly. She did not speak. Daniel stood near the door. He looked at the floor. His heart was beating very fast. After a few minutes, Mrs. Amara looked up. Her eyes were bright. "Daniel," she said, "this is wonderful." Daniel looked up. "Really?" he said. "Really," she said. "You have a real voice. A real voice is the rarest thing. Not everyone has it. You do." Daniel did not know what to say. "Keep writing," Mrs. Amara said. "Every day. Do not stop. Promise me." "I promise," Daniel said. He picked up his notebook. He walked home. The sun was very bright that afternoon. He did not notice the heat. He did not notice the long road. He just walked and smiled and held his notebook close. Chapter 6. The Competition. 2 months later, Mrs. Amara told the class something exciting. There was a national writing competition for young people. Anyone under 16 could enter. The winner would have their story published in a real book. A real book, in bookshops, for everyone to read. The class was noisy with excitement. Some students said they would enter. Some said it was too hard. Some said they did not have time. Daniel said nothing. But that evening he opened his notebook. He thought for a long time. Then he started writing. He wrote a story about his family, about his father coming home tired in the dark, about his mother's hands rough from work, about Rosa's loud laugh that filled the small house, about the torn notebook he found on the road. He wrote about the boy he was and the person he wanted to become. He wrote every night for 3 weeks. He filled 12 pages. He crossed things out. He rewrote them. He crossed them out again. His father saw him writing one night. His father sat next to him on the bed. "What are you making?" his father asked. "A story," Daniel said. His father was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Read it to me." Daniel read the whole story out loud. When he finished, his father did not speak for a long time. Then his father put his hand on Daniel's shoulder. He did not need to say anything. Daniel understood. Chapter 7. Waiting. Daniel gave his story to Mrs. Amara. She sent it to the competition. Then came the hardest part, waiting. 1 week passed, then 2, then 3. Daniel tried not to think about it, but it was difficult. At school, he looked at his desk and wondered. At home, he looked at his notebook and wondered. At night, he lay in bed and looked at the ceiling and wondered, what if it is not good enough? What if nobody likes it? What if I am not really a writer? These thoughts came every night. They were heavy thoughts. But every morning, Daniel got up. He made breakfast for Rosa. He walked to school. He opened his notebook and wrote 1 more page, because that was the only thing he could control. Not the result, not what other people thought, only the writing, only the next page, only the next word. So he kept going. It was a Friday afternoon. Daniel was helping Rosa with her homework when he heard his mother's voice from the kitchen. "Daniel, come here." Her voice sounded strange, high and excited. Daniel walked to the kitchen. His mother was standing at the table. She was holding a white envelope. Her hands were shaking. "This came today," she said. "It is for you." Daniel looked at the envelope. On the front it said, "National Young Writers Competition." His heart stopped. Then it started again very fast. He took the envelope. His hands were shaking too now. Rosa came in from the other room. "What is it?" she asked. "I don't know yet," Daniel said. He opened the envelope slowly. He took out the letter. He read the first line. Then he read it again. Then he put the letter down on the table. His mother was watching him. Rosa was watching him. "Daniel," his mother said softly, "what does it say?" Daniel looked up. His eyes were full of tears, but he was smiling, the biggest smile of his life. "I won," he said. His mother made a sound he had never heard from her before, something between a laugh and a cry. She held him tight, very tight. Rosa jumped up and down and shouted things that made no sense. Daniel stood in the middle of the small kitchen, in the small house, in the small town, and felt bigger than he ever had in his life. Chapter 9. The Book. 6 months later, Daniel held a book in his hands, a real book, with a real cover, with his name on it. Stories from Small Places by Daniel Ossie. He stood outside the front door of his house. The morning sun was warm on his face. He looked at his name on the cover for a long time. He thought about the torn notebook he found on the road. He thought about the late nights when he was tired but kept writing. He thought about the heavy thoughts that came in the dark. He thought about his father's hand on his shoulder. He thought about Mrs. Amara's bright eyes. He thought about Rosa's loud laugh. He opened the book to the first page. There was a small note that he had written himself for the dedication page. He read it quietly. "For my father, who works before the sun. For my mother, whose hands are strong. For Rosa, who always laughs. And for the torn notebook I found on the road. Thank you for waiting for me." He closed the book. He took a deep breath, and he walked back inside to start writing the next one. Chapter 10. What Daniel Learned. Daniel's story did not end with the book. It was only the beginning. He kept writing, every day. Some days were easy. The words came quickly. The pages filled fast. Some days were hard. He sat for an hour and wrote nothing. But he always came back, because he had learned something important, something that no classroom can teach. He had learned that the distance between a dream and reality is not talent. It is not money. It is not luck. It is one thing only: showing up. Showing up when you are tired. Showing up when you are afraid. Showing up when nobody is watching. Showing up when you fail and the page is empty and the dream feels far away. That is the whole secret. Just showing up. Daniel showed up every night with a torn notebook and a pencil, and the world met him halfway. A message for you. You just finished this story, and that means something. Maybe English is hard for you right now. Maybe you feel like the words are too difficult. Maybe you feel like progress is too slow. Maybe some days you want to stop. But think about Daniel. He did not have much. He had a torn notebook, a pencil, and one sentence.
My name is Daniel, and I want to be somebody. You have more than that. You have this story. You have your voice. You have today. Every English word you learn is one more page in your notebook. Every sentence you speak is one more step on the road. Every time you press play and listen and try again, you are showing up, and showing up is everything. So keep going. Come back tomorrow. Read one more story. Listen one more time. Speak one more sentence. Your notebook is not torn. Your story is not finished. It is just beginning, and it is going to be something beautiful. Keep learning. Keep going. Never stop. Thank you for reading and listening today. See you in the next story.